Early this morning, the Senate approved a measure to fund most of the Department of Homeland Security, but not ICE or Border Patrol. This measure moves Congress one step closer to ending the partial government shutdown, getting TSA workers paid, and ending these hours-long wait times at airports across the country. CBS News' Jarred Hill has been watching all the developments for us and joins us now. Jarred, good morning. What happened?
Good morning, Errol. So what we saw basically overnight was the Senate agreeing to what Democrats have been proposing for a while now: fund the Department of Homeland Security, except for ICE and Border Protection, where they want to see reforms. It's paving the way for smoother sailing at the nation's airports after weeks of turmoil. Soon possible relief to frustration at the nation's airports.
I just really upset with Congress for not doing their job to fund DHS so we can get rid of this mess.
Early Friday, the Senate passed a bill to fund most of the Department of Homeland Security, leaving ICE for later.
Democrats held firm in our opposition that Donald Trump's rogue and deadly militia should not get more funding without serious reforms, and we will continue to fight.
Democrats got their issue, I guess. And in the process, they are irreparably damaging the appropriations process.
It comes hours after President Trump said he was directing his new Secretary of Homeland Security, Markwayne Mullin, to pay the thousands of TSA workers who've gone over a month without a check. They're set to miss another today.
They need to end the shutdown immediately, or we'll have to take some very drastic measures.
Democratic leaders questioned what took the president so long to step in.
He's always had this ability, but clearly he wanted to hold TSA agents and the American people hostage.
The Senate bill now moves to the House. All right, so what happened to the ICE reforms that were at the center of the shutdown? Senate Majority Leader Thune said that Democrats kind of kissed that opportunity goodbye, and Republicans are now working on funding ICE and CBP on their own. Meanwhile, it's not quite clear yet when TSA would start getting paid again, even if everything goes to plan, Errol.
All right, something to watch closely this morning. Jarred, thanks. For more on this late-night deal in the Senate, we're joined by Nicholas Wu. He's a congressional reporter for Semafor. Good morning, Nicholas. Hope you got some sleep and you weren't watching this live in real time. Let our viewers understand what's in the bill and explain what happens to these ICE reforms that Democrats had been insisting on.
This is a pretty straightforward piece of legislation. It really funds all of DHS, with the exception of ICE and Border Patrol, which were some of the thorniest parts of this, and are what Republicans have been talking about putting into some kind of party line bill that they can pass without Democrats. Now, as for all these reforms that Democrats have been proposing, they're not in this legislation. But Democrats are touting this as a win, saying that they got what they wanted all along. Fund DHS without these parts that Democrats were objecting to. And so now the question is, how they'll fund the rest of DHS.
Now it moves from the Senate to the House. This is not out of the woods yet. Let's listen to what some House members said yesterday about a potential deal here.
Look, as long as we can get them paid, because I'm seeing airport security as a national security issue. We've seen Iran make overtures of a potential 9/11 attack. No one wants to see that. And it's at the safety and jeopardy of our nation's national security. And I'm struggling with that. And I don't want Congress to go home until this is done.
We're willing to fund TSA. We're willing to fund FEMA. We're willing to fund the agencies except for ICE and CBP. We're not going to fund those unless we get the reforms we've demanded.
So how much real time is there for the House to vote before this 2-week recess?
This is the very last day that the House is here before they leave. And, there could be some problems with this vote. Democrats are likely to be largely on board with this. This is what they wanted. There are Republicans who might be upset at the fact that, Senate Republicans let this through, that they're not getting stuff like the SAVE Act, that voting bill the president has been pushing. But, this being Congress, don't underestimate the desire of a lot of members to get out of town for a recess.
Nothing motivates like a recess. Nicholas Wu, thanks very much. Hope you can enjoy your weekend.